this is what Jesus asks of us. This is how he asks us to care for those who are around us. What we're hoping to teach our kids as they launch is no matter where you go, no matter what you're doing, the people that you are engaging with is always going to be the most important component of that.
Welcome to the Everyday Faith Podcast, where we believe you can live out your faith every day by starting with belief, embracing your mission, committing to obedience, and pursuing community. I'm Dan.
And I'm Jess. Today we welcome a duo into the studio with us, Kendra Roehl and Julie Fisk. Together, along with Kendra's sister Kristen, they created the One Story Well Collective. Through their books, devotionals, and online content, they invite women to share and live their stories within God's greater story of love, redemption, and hope. You'll get to know them a bit more through our time together, so let's get into it. Kendra and Julie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Well, we'd love to hear how you came to know the Lord.
So that's a great question. I grew up in a Christian home, and so I feel like I've always had this understanding or sense about who God was. And I very much appreciate that from my parents. But I think a pivotal moment in my own faith journey and really claiming it for myself was when years ago we decided with Julie and her husband and two other couples to start a church plant ourselves. And that really, I feel like, grew us as people, grew us in our faith to not just be dependent on what someone else would tell us about God or faith or belief or growing in your faith, living it out. But that really became a pivotal time in all of our lives to kind of own what is it that we believe, how do we believe faith is to be lived out. And the thing that church plant is no longer meeting, but the outpouring from that time period, I think, still is what drives us today and has created habits in us that we now are teaching our own kids about community and faith and belief and all of that. So that's
I would agree with that. So I'm Julie, just so you guys can just
so we know who is who.
I grew up in a nominally Christian home. And I went through a period of wrestling with God. And so, especially in my teenage years and my young adult years. And the thing I love about God so much is that he was really patient and he pursued me over a number of years. And he was okay with my questions. He was okay with my doubts. And I just never stopped talking to him. So I wasn't sure he existed, but I would talk to him as I drove down the road, which I'm so grateful that young Julie did that. And he did. He just continually pursued me in a way that it doesn't have to be instantaneous, and we can wrestle with our faith. And he's okay with that. And then fast forward, lots of spiritual growth over decades. And then we launched a church. And there's something powerful about having to figure it out on your own and being responsible to figure it out on your own. And it altered my husband's and my life too.
Wow. Yeah, I love what you said there. You were talking to God even though you didn't even know if he existed. You're like, well, I have nothing to lose, I guess. So, yeah. God, if you're there.
Right.
Truly, I don't know, even strong believers can find themselves in kind of those valleys, right? And thinking, man, God, do you hear me? Are these prayers falling on deaf ears? What's going on? And so, encouragement right out of the gate today. But, if you're in a valley,
God pursued you for years. I just think about what I've pursued for years, right?
100%.
There's not much in life nowadays that we pursue for more than 6 months.
Right.
So
good point.
The fact that God is so consistent in that is incredible.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know, this is just me, but he's God of the universe. You know what I mean? And I'm his creation, but this little Dan. And this God of the universe pursues us for years. That's incredible by itself. So sorry, that's my thought.
No, that's great. Thanks for sharing it. You never have to be sorry about sharing your thoughts.
All right, great.
Okay.
I'll never say sorry again. It is official.
You use the word pursue, which of course in one of our pillars it is in conjunction with community, pursuing community. But right there, as you're saying, it's like, wow, God pursued community with us. He continues to pursue community with us. We're created in his image to desire community. And, you know, there's community with him. There's also the community with others. Horizontal community maybe and vertical. Okay, so tell us a little bit about One Story Well Collective.
So we started years ago. What was it? 2012. 2012.
Okay.
Julie and I, neither of us have a background in.
She's a
being
social
writers.
worker, and I'm an attorney.
Yeah,
So
Not authors.
not authors, but storytellers.
Storytellers.
Sure.
We went to this women's conference, and Julie and I both left there feeling like God had something for us to write. And we talked together about it. We brainstormed a little bit. We couldn't come up with anything. The next year, we went back to that same women's conference, still feeling like God was giving us something to share with other people. And we got together after that conference, and within about a half an hour, we had an outline for a book called The Ruth Experience, which was based on the story of Ruth and Naomi from the Bible and their relationship together as women and in community, and how they came from such different places, but how God met them both. And filled needs in their lives. And just so that first book was really about learning lessons that apply to us today. And then we also incorporated modern day women's stories that were applicable to the truths that we were finding through Ruth and Naomi. So it was a lovely book.
Sure.
And one that really, writing wise, I think
Launched us. And
we, at that time, so you mentioned my sister Kristen, she does have a background in journalism and English. So we were smart enough at the time to be like, we probably need an editor's perspective. Kristen, would you mind joining us? Yeah. And then it just kind of went from there. We found that we loved to write in a way that would encourage people in their everyday lives. And how do we take faith that sometimes feels intangible and make it tangible and practical for today? And so we just kept writing after that. And that's really been at the heart of a lot of what One Story Well has been about from the beginning.
I call us professional nudgers. Like, if you read our stuff, we're not going to leave you alone. There's always an action step. Like, here's this fun story, or maybe this hard story, or maybe this in-between story, and now here's this thing for you to, like, we assign homework to everybody. Like, here's a little homework, a tiny little homework assignment.
But we give that to ourselves too.
100%. Yeah. It's all about taking somewhat theoretical faith and then distilling it down into the practical day-to-day, and then be like, now go do something today. Like, and that was what Kendra and I were talking just before we jumped on with you guys. You know, sometimes we think that for God to use us, it has to be huge. It has to be across the sea, and it has to be a mission trip, and it has to be, and
so we wait for those big
moments, and we completely miss the cry for help to drop something off on somebody's doorstep, or
Right.
Wow.
So that's what we just want to nudge people into day-to-day, like, live out your faith tangibly every day.
Well, at the end of this episode, we're going to ask you for a homework assignment, so you can be thinking on that.
We can writing essays, ladies and gentlemen. I also teach at the college level currently, so I'm really good at
wow.
So I can come up with some good ones. Multiple choice questions coming in.
No exams.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I want you to share with our listeners a little bit about where each of you are at with your families, because I know you're both in slightly different stage of life with your kids. And then you're talking about all these amazing ways that you're encouraging women. And I have to imagine that some of those concepts are seeping into parenting and just the way that you live your life. So I'd love to hear from each of you. First about your family, and then about one of those ways that you find yourselves encouraging your kids, or challenging them, maybe nudging them.
So this is Julie. I have 2 kids, married to Aaron, with 2 dogs in central Minnesota. My daughter is a senior in high school, so I am feeling all of the feels of having a senior.
Yeah.
And then my son is a sophomore, so he's about
Okay.
to take his driving test. So that's like firmly where I am is like, I know, launching I'm in launch mode
Wow.
for my
Yes.
kids. Do you want to introduce yourself
Sure.
and then we
Yeah,
can?
yeah. So I have, I'm married to Kyle, and we have 5 children, 3 of which we adopted through the foster care system.
Wow.
Beautiful.
So our kids we have 2 adults who are out of the house, and then we, like Julie and Aaron, have a senior. And then our middle sons are the same age too. And then our youngest is 11. So we have teenagers that are about to launch too, and then
Wow.
a middle schooler. So quite the range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun.
I think we got the whole spectrum. We have 4 kids, 5.5 and under.
Oh, there you go.
We cover it all.
We cover it all. Okay, so what do you think? Man, launching season, there's a lot of transition and anticipation that the kids are going through, that you're going through. Maybe it has to do with that, maybe it doesn't, but what's something that you're nudging them toward lately?
So I think one thing, and I'll just start by saying when our kids were little, we were very intentional as families, even together, we would often do things together where we would nudge our kids to take some sort of action, or we would see a need and then we would be intentional to fill it. And then as parents, we would talk with our kids about, here's why we're doing this. Here's what Jesus says about caring for the poor or the needy, or when you see a need. So we've always been, I think, intentional to tie in what Jesus says, how we are to live, with our actions, whether that be in our home or outside our home. And then, like Julie said, we have tried to find ways to incorporate it in our everyday lives. So how is this looking practical for us? So for example,
Yeah.
my son plays soccer, and he has for years. So it's been important for my husband and I to get involved in that community. We have a very diverse soccer group in our community. And so we've gotten to know a lot of kids who come from various different backgrounds, different families.
Sure.
And so we've been able to step in and, maybe we help with rides, or my husband helps with coaching. We've gotten to know the kids. We bring extra food or whatever it is. And as we do those things, we're talking with our son, but our other kids see it as well. Like, here's why we do this. It's because this is what Jesus asks of us. This is how he asks us to care for those who are around us. What we're hoping to teach our kids as they launch is, no matter where you go, no matter what you're doing, the people that you are engaging with is always going to be the most important component of that.
Yeah.
And so you can find things in life, like my son's passionate about soccer. That's great. We love that you're so passionate about that. But within that passion, we want to notice the people who are there and then try to have an impact. Because it always comes back to relationship, really. Relationship with God, and then relationship with people around us.
Right. That's good. That actually reminds me of my father-in-law, and he would always, what would he always say? It was around that idea of relationships. It's the only thing you bring
Well,
with
would
you
you
to
rather
heaven.
have a relationship or be right?
And that's But I'm reminded that the relationships, it's the only thing that lasts into eternity. And so, but what are you going to prioritize when you step into any situation, whether it's about whether you're going to soccer practice or a game, or on your way to work, headed out on vacation. Yeah.
Well, you talked about meeting the needs of the community. Is there another story that you have of like, hey, we decided this was a need in the community and here's how we can meet it, and the lesson you taught your kids or you learned yourself?
So one of the things my husband and I do is we have a family giving fund. I'm going to talk about money. So we're just going to go straight there.
Nice.
Let's just hit the hard stuff. We have a family giving fund. So we give money to the church, but we also put money into a separate account. And it is a bank account that just stays cash. And both my husband and I, part of our paycheck just goes into this every month. So it's not, It's just one of those automatic things, and it's a separate account, and it's God's money. And that means that when a need comes up, it's literally a checkbook situation. Like, we just simply write a check. And so our public schools are high in free and reduced lunch. And so our elementary school, my kids' elementary school was a high need school. And so our piano teacher is the music teacher in the elementary school. And she's like the literal glue of this school. She's been teaching there for 50 years.
Wow.
Karen Cruz, she's just this incredible woman. And so she would hold a little fundraiser, and then she would use that money to buy like the pencil, like all the stuff that these kids needed at the school. And she wasn't able to hold the fundraiser one year. COVID really just messed stuff up, right? And so she wasn't able to hold the fundraiser. And so she had been saying to my son, John, and they talk about all sorts of things on the piano bench. And so she had just said to John, like, I just wasn't able to do it this year. And so John came out to the car. And so he told me, and I was like, okay, here's the checkbook, run a check into her.
Wow.
And we wrote a check. And the amount of the check doesn't matter. It's it's showing your kids that you have set aside something to be the immediate hands and feet of God. And so the moment a need comes, it's literally take a check over to them, send a Venmo, send a whatever. And that is just normal in my family. And it doesn't have to be big. Like, I'm saying to all of your listeners, we are not talking about huge money. So if you're like, Julie, I can't, I'm like, $5?
Yeah.
So that was maybe a little.
That's perfect.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Sorry. I don't mean that. Like, that was just like.
Hey, I don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize. All right. I think it's so important we talk about money, right?
Yeah.
But showing up for people in that way, it's really profound. Like, there's something that it then triggers a whole cascading set of conversations in a completely different way. When you take care of an immediate need, that then opens up the relationship for all sorts of other things. And it's no strings attached. We literally, here's the money, go do what you need. I don't need receipts. I don't need, like, I'm just taking care of this need.
It's good.
I think that's very powerful.
Yeah. Like the story of this, there was a mom this morning whose family is in a little bit of a crisis. And what did you say
She put out on social media on Sunday, they're having a really rough time. And she just put out on social media, like, I need paper towels. I can't get to paper towels. I need paper towels. Is there anybody who could just throw paper towels on my doorstep? And I said, send me your address. I've got paper towels. Kendra teases me a little bit. I'm a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of a prepper, which means I have a pantry of stuff.
That's awesome.
And so I said to my husband, she needs paper towels. And so I asked her, I said, what else do you need? And she said, we just need disposable kitchenware for right now. And so I had disposable kitchenware in my pantry. And so we loaded up our little car and drove over to her house and just put it on her doorstep and said, I didn't even see her. Like, because she wasn't, that's not the issue, right? I'm just throwing it on your doorstep. I'm sending you a note, and off we go.
Yeah, I like that.
Why do you do this?
Because God tells me to. Yeah. I don't want to miss adventuring. Okay, this is probably obedience if you're like looking at your pillars, but
Sure.
adventuring with God, being usable, being available to be redirected from your to-do list is the most fun I've ever had. And also the most life transforming.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Oh, I have a story I'd love to share.
Yes.
On Sunday, I was conversating with God, ideating with them at church, and it comes to this committing to obedience. And I was like, I had this grand old plan of how, like, I could bless so many people, all this great stuff. And it was like, this would, like, I would look like a good guy, like, this is great. And the Lord convicted me so quickly. Like, he didn't give me like a half a second to think about it. And it was like, I don't want you to prove yourself. I want you to follow, right? And it's that committing to obedience. It's not that I want you to feel like you have to do this. I just want to lead you in ways and give you permission to do things, right? God didn't have to tell you to do that, right? He did in his word. So,
Right.
Right.
you don't have to be audibly spoken to every time you're going to give some paper towels, right?
Yeah.
It's following him, knowing his words so you can follow him, right? And that was so good. You don't have to prove yourself. You have to follow.
Right.
Because who knows, if God tells you to give $1 million, then okay. If God tells you to give 10 cents, okay.
Right.
Right? Is there a difference in God's eyes if you're obedient?
I think it's the act of obedience, quite honestly.
Yes.
And I don't think he's going to trust us with the, I mean,
Yeah.
do you agree? I don't think he's going to trust us with the big if we haven't been faithful in the little.
Oh, man.
It's like it's
So-
straight from the Bible. I mean, I think you're onto something.
Yeah. I think it says that.
And it's so cool. It's really, it's not, I shouldn't say it's not that hard. It's not that complicated, right? It's usually not that complicated.
Right.
But it does take an effort, and it does take, like, I had to go down in my pantry. I had to pull it out. I had to get in the car.
Well, you probably had a bunch of other stuff going on that you could have been doing.
I had to reorder my day, and I had to be willing to be inconvenienced.
Yeah.
And as an attorney, that has to be difficult.
I've learned a lot over the years, you guys.
Honestly, I think convenience, I mean, that's probably one of the biggest things in our
Oh,
society
yes.
is convenience and
and
comfort.
convenience.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like there's so much we don't do, even though we feel like, oh, that'd be a good thing to do.
Well, and that's where it's like our pillars are all inconvenient,
Yeah.
right? It's like seeking God is inconvenient. Yes, you need to give up time of your day.
It's not just about you. Yeah.
Committing to obedience is extremely inconvenient,
It is sometimes.
right? And then embracing your mission is not what you think it is.
Yeah.
It's not.
And then pursuing community, even more inconvenient.
His plan is always so much better than mine. Like, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't even want my plan anymore because my plan is dumb
Come on.
as compared to your plan. Your plan is way better
Right.
and way more interesting and way more redemptive
Fulfilling.
than anything that I could have dreamt up.
I don't know if you used the word fun earlier, Julie, but you were talking about how it's just like life is so much better. It's so much fuller when
Yes.
we're living for him and following him. And yeah, it's so fun. People,
It is fun.
I think sometimes followers of Jesus, Christians, people who are in church, I don't know what we want to, but sometimes people are just kind of, they go to the duty side of Christianity, and sure, there's like some responsibility that we have. Let's not like minimize that.
Yeah.
Also, God is a God of like fun and joy and living life fully and thriving, not just doing your duty and, out of obedience with your head down. And he wants us to have fun and love life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now we say that, and we're still working on that ourselves.
Well, it's true.
It's
You know, you got young kids.
It's
Yes.
a full journey. Like, we never arrive.
Yeah.
And I mean, and Kendra and I've talked about this often. Like, oftentimes there's something really, really hard and there's something really, really joyful
Yeah.
going on in our lives at the same time. So
Yeah.
That's fun.
And we've learned to let those things coincide
They
or
have to.
coexist. Yeah.
so I can be filled with joy over this thing, even as I'm lamenting over this other thing.
Yeah.
And I just look for the goodness. I'm training myself to look for the goodness of God. So, right now it's fall here in Minnesota and it's spectacular. I mean, like, there's this one tree by my neighborhood, and every time I drive by it, I'm like, Lord, thank you for this tree. It's literally the prettiest thing I'm seeing every day. So I think that too, like, if you, like, all this other stuff, if you practice looking for the goodness of God, he's so good.
Well, that's amazing. As we wrap up part 1, I can't believe this time has gone by so fast. Thank you for sharing that. And you guys are going to give us a homework assignment on what we should be doing. So as we wrap up part 1, what is the homework assignment for us?
Oh, Kendra's looking at me. I want you to ask God who you can do something kind for today. Send a text, make a phone call, push their carts back to the front of the grocery store. Like, just go on high alert and say, God, how can I be kind to somebody today?
That is amazing.
that.
Thank you both so much. We are excited for part 2.
Thank you for listening to this conversation from the Everyday Faith Podcast. Our goal is to inspire everyday faith conversations. Please join us by rating and reviewing wherever you're listening, and most importantly, by sharing with a friend. For more resources like this, visit our website, askaboutmyfaith.com. God bless you as you live out your faith in your everyday rhythms of life.